our speaker, Mr. Venkata Murugan. I will give a brief about him. He is a national head of operation for glass business of Gobain Private Limited. He is also the head of International Technical Directorate of India. He has done his BTech Chemical Engineering from NIT Trichy, also PG Diploma in Environment Studies from National Institute of Environment, Lucknow. He has got multiple certifications in industrial safety, general law, cost accounting, material management, HR management, finance management. So he is very versatile. Also, he has done his executive management programs both in IIM Bangalore and IIM Kolkata. Initial period of 8 years, he has worked with Madras Fertilizers, then joined Gobain. He is with Gobain for the last 27 years. He has global experience working in China and South Africa also. He has handled diverse roles across production, operational excellence, plant management, currently lead operations and innovations. He is deeply committed to sustainable manufacturing, digital transformation. Now over to you, Venkat.
Very good afternoon, everyone. First, a word of acknowledgement to NIQR. Quite impressed with what the journey of NIQR has been. I represent a process industry, but thanks largely to associations like NIQR and automotive industry, which is represented largely here, for making what the quality movement here it is. When I started to work in early 90s, made in India was not accepted in any of the Indian products. And so people were avoiding that. But it is the advent of the TQM journey, that imbibing of the ISO systems, largely attributed to the automotive industry. A big kudos to organizations like NIQR and all the tall leaders who are represented here. Thank you, sir, Dr. Swaminathan, for really making a big impact on all the industry in this part of the world. A big, big thank you and kudos. So the topic which was given to me is the resilience in quality leadership. I represent Gobain. It's a 360-year-old company. So when you talk about resilience, so I thought, why not look from inwards and talk about from our own experience? And I had the opportunity to work in several countries, and I had an opportunity to see how the glass was being made in the factory where I was trained nearly 200 years ago, in France, in Germany, in Italy, in several places. In 15 quarter of a century that the company has been in existence, we in Sriperumbudur are just 1 quarter of a century. But in 80 countries, 1,800 odd factories, the place where we are today in Chennai, in Sriperumbudur, is already the single largest investment and largest in terms of turnover and the number of people. So it's a legacy that I'm speaking like in 200 years ago, how the glass was being made in those factories. The group has given us an opportunity to replicate something here. And that's what we are really looking into. And for that, for a company which did not have a resilience, would not have lasted this long. So from that experience and wanting to have this legacy continue, for sure the quality leadership has to be an important one. So on that count, I just thought I'll share our experiences and what we think should be the current priority for the industry like us and to go forward. To be the delta differentiator among the competition, particularly in terms of quality management, is the key for us to be a leader, if I can say that in a humble way. And while maintaining that, today we are focusing for the future on 3 aspects. These are all the 3 aspects which I'm going to talk how we can internalize the quality leadership. The first is on the sustainability. I'll talk next on the digital in a hardcore process industry for a product which is in existence for 6,000 years, how digital is getting internalized. And of course, in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion at the workplace. So sustainability, digital, and DEI is what the topic I'm going to talk about. If you look at the sustainability, in my 35 years of career, I've heard about the environmental impact that we need to do, but when it comes to cost and looking at the business point of view, the management of change, etc., we have been always little taken a reverse gear in the past 30 years. But in the last 5 years or so, the changes that I am seeing and we are doing in our industry is for real, and it is making an important impact. So when this is real, the management of change has to happen. How the net carbon neutral, the sustainability which every reputed organization is really into it, how quality focus can really make a difference. This is one thing which we are really trying to internalize all our quality practices into making the sustainability and real in our workplaces. Few examples I'll talk about. Everyone is, our scope 2 is 0 already, and we are fully into renewable energy in terms of electricity, but we are a huge consumer of hydrocarbons. And nearly half of our CO2 emitted on scope 1 comes from the fuel that we use. And one of the things that we have done 3 years ago when we wanted to rebuild our float line 2, and we went in for 25% replacement of hydrocarbon with electrical energy, with a commitment that it will be 100% renewable. And it's so easy to say, but actually it is not so easy when it comes to glass melting. It is just not 110 crore extra investment, but comes with a huge amount of electrical risk, and with the electrical boosting that will go into the bottom of the furnace, you are spoiling the convection current, which makes this melting of raw material more efficient, and so thereby the bad quality. Everything in terms of extra cost, in terms of safety, in terms of quality of the glass, everything is quite negative. Will anybody having a common sense go in for that? But we had to go in because we had to avoid using the hydrocarbon. That is where the resilience of quality leadership comes into play. We took it up as a challenge. Thankfully, we have, thanks to the vision of Mr. Santanam, who has created the R&D center in our IIT Madras Research Park in Chennai, supported by the central team, of course. And we have a huge team of scientists and modeling team, which worked on improving the safety of the electrical installations, which is required in terms of when glass is a non-conductor, but molten glass is a very good conductor of electricity. And in terms of glass leakage, and in terms of the convection modeling. We went in for completely a very different way of working. The way we have been operating the furnaces to now is very different. This management of change required a total quality mindset shift. The management of change, which is an integral part of the quality management, has been a driving force. The quality mindset with which the team collaborated together. Today, for the last 1.5 years, we are running at 25% renewable energy, which is much higher, better quality than what we normally get with the hydrocarbon, which was in the anticipation going forward. So the point I'm trying to say is that even for the hydrogen, when it becomes really 6 times more expensive than the hydrocarbon when it's going to come in, we invested 14 million euros in our plant in Germany to go in for studying and looking at how we can really go for the future in terms of sustainability. So when it comes to the sustainable alternate fuel, I just gave one example. There are quite a few other examples. The second is in terms of enhancing the material efficiency as well as recycling. I talk about my product. Recycling is everyone in our neighborhood houses. We know how difficult it is to recycle, right? Segregate and recycle. It's not easy, but coming to glass is even difficult. You have a ceramic color, the cooktop glass that you have, it mixes up with our glass. The production can get spoiled for days. 1 kilogram of contamination which went unknowingly 2.5 years ago spoiled nearly 7 days of production, costing more than 10 crores of loss. Can you just imagine 1 kilogram of a waste color just got mixed up? So that's the kind of difficulty that we have. But can we avoid recycling for this? The answer is no. And also the other challenge is the life cycle of glass, for example, is 30 years. 30 years ago, India had 1.5 lakh ton capacity of glass making. Today, it's 40 lakh tons. And if you have to feed the cullet that was installed 30 years back to now, it's not going to be working out. So we are taking all our efforts in terms of taking all the color. We invested 35 crores in an advanced color treatment plant with optical sorting systems and the eddy current systems. And thereby we are increased what was less than 50,000 tons per annum about 4 years ago to 1.6 lakh tons of color being recycled with the advent of new technologies. So the recycling is again a quality commitment. If the team is not, the panel in the first opening sessions talked about the mindset of the people starting from the leadership. I think it's create an organization where people come together rather than shying away from taking difficult tasks from the sustainability point of view, which was the case in my previous experiences from 90s to 2000s. Today it is imperative that we go into the mindset. So creating a culture of quality leadership is very important. I talked about the fuel, I talked about the recycling. Again, on the half of our CO2 on the scope 1 comes from the raw materials. To melt silica, we had sodium carbonate. To make the glass more stabilized, we use calcium and magnesium, but we use it in the form of calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. So in fact, for every 100 kg of raw material we feed, only 82.3 kg becomes glass, the remaining 17.7 kg goes out predominantly as carbonate CO2. So if you have to get it down, conventional raw materials, hundreds of years of glass manufacturing the same raw material. We have to move away from this. It's not easy. A lot of work is happening across the world. When it comes to implementation, people are finding it a challenge. So that's where the quality mindset and the management of change really making it. Today, 100% of our limestone, which we use for tinter glass, is substituted with wollastonite, which is nothing but calcium silicate with 4% LOI versus the 44% LOI. If we, in our organization, did not have the quality mindset, we did not have the processes, and thanks again to the automotive industry, I'll acknowledge it, the IATF, we are not mandated to be an IATF organization because we are not an automotive direct supplier. But we went in for this, from the quality assurance to the process assurance. That mindset really helped us to go into and taking these bold decisions and moving away from the traditional raw material. It wasn't easy, a collaborative effort, combined with the quality mindset of the organization. There are a couple of things which is related to the water and also related to the trees. Okay, this is again unsustainable. I will not talk too much about it, but I think in quality, even for example, if you look at, we are living in Chennai. That's why I use this water as an important thing. Not far from here, 2 kilometers away, when I landed in here as an 8-year-old boy in 1977, and my grandfather took me on the Adyar River overflowing. And the next 3 weeks, I was with the bucket looking for water. So that's the difficult situation in which we were in. 2004, we had the rainwater harvesting mandated by the government, which improved the water table by 3 times. From 9 meters, it became 3 meters. The TDS reduced from 800 ppm to 200 ppm. So the quality mindset can also come from certain bold, common sense decisions, but practical and to be implemented. The point why I am trying to make is everyone talks about conserving water. Everyone talks about planting trees. But how honestly are we really conserving and planting the trees? Again, it's a quality mindset. We have an organization with the entire team committed to the quality mindset. Walk the talk in terms of taking the actions. That breeds a lot of good thoughts in terms of processes in the manufacturing. That comes from some of these common sense like the water and the trees that we talked about. So that's on the sustainability. Next, quickly on the digital space. As I said again, same like sustainability, the kind of changes in the technology. We have been an IT-rich company since beginning. But the changes that I have seen, for example, as an young engineer in 1990s, when the distributed control systems came into the process industry, I was like, wow, everything is now superb. But now the advent of digital is the last 3 years, I'm seeing that it is 4 times the entire life changes that I've seen in the process industry. And to make this change is not easy. And for that, any change, I think the quality management has to be very carefully planned out. As I said, the distributed control system, today, for example, the AI-based systems are going into the data analytics and predicting what my process parameter is going to be after 45 minutes to 4 hours. I really don't know in this 1,800 tons of glass which is sitting in the furnace, which I cannot really visualize, what is really going to happen after 1 hour or 2 days, even for that matter sometimes. And this, with the advent of AI, is giving us so much of confidence that we are able to predict in such a way that process stability is 40% better, and that helps us to significantly improve our quality, and it's directly impacting our production yield and our profitability. So having the mindset to adapt to the changes, to have the digital, is very important. And I'm really looking forward to all the youngsters here. There is no option, but you have to be an literate in a big way. You can be an A, B, C classification, even the previous NIQR, this is what I said. You have an acumen to understand the machine learning and the AI. You want to be full-time, please do that. That's a B classification of people who will be subject matter experts. But if you learn this AI and the machine learning and the data analytics, you can significantly change. And that's a C category of people. If you are not aware of these things, how to use it, then the future is going to be very bleak. So learn this digital, and it's really going to know the tsunami in which it's changing. And 6,000-year-old, manufacturing industry like ours, the glass manufacturing, you can see what is going to do for all the new age manufacturing as well. And Dr. Sumantran mentioned about how the manufacturing in India has to really come up. And I'm happy to say that in our experience, in our industry, India is really playing the role as a pilot. And our engineers from here, right sitting here in Chennai, not far from here, in Guindy, the Indec 4.0 center that we have, is really contributing in a significant way. And for this to be adapted, I think it is important for us to have a quality mindset and the team behind this. So that's where I kind of link in with the resilience of the quality mindset. The third is in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion. Diversity, with not so happy to see the amount of the number of women represented here. I hope in the subsequent sessions we will have more number of women, but also the science community and also the Gen Zs. Okay, so there is a lot of, I love working with Gen Zs, to be honest. I love working with all the people who are geeks with the digital. Be part of it. Don't resist what they are. The generations are different. And to bring in an heterogeneous group work together, I think a quality management has to be so resilient. If we do not have the mindset of accepting changes and adapt, and at the same time assuring the quality, I think we will not be able to adapt to different mindsets. So the differences by way of the way the scientists think, the way the Gen Zs think, and the diverse way with the women leadership are really bringing into the table is significantly impacted in a positive way. And on that count, I strongly feel that from the future manufacturing point of view, on these three accounts, on the sustainability and the digital and the diversity, equity, inclusion, the quality leadership will stay resilient. And we are passing through an exhilarating period where we think the legacy of Gobain 360 years can continue. And today the need of the hour to tie up all the three things which I mentioned, the quality leadership is the one which is important. Thank you.
So we are running short of time. It's time for Q&A. Few questions are, quite a lot of questions are there. I'll pick up few which are common. One question from Mr. Suman Kumar Chaudhary. He is asking, if you do R&D to improve quality, how can we convince customer for increased cost? So who would like to answer this? Muthu?
I think R&D or anything that we do to customers, the focus is what value we are creating to customers, correct? And customers today are willing to pay if there is a value. As simple as it is. If it is not creating any value, there is no point in developing or no point in investing. I think you also touched this point, this one, correct? As long as there is a value, customer will pay for it. So the focus should be on value, and whatever we do, how to create a value. I think that's how we need to look. That's how I see this one.
Okay. The next question is, Arif Nidhi is asking, as a quality leader, you should empower your employees. That's what being said in all the discussion. So by what means I can empower them to invoke quality? It's a very common question. Basically, how do we empower the workman? First of all, you have to remove fear from their mind. Supposing one does a mistake, he has to put a bolt with a washer, he forgot to put. After a minute, he realized that he has forgotten the washer. The vehicle has moved. Now, if he reports to the supervisor, how the supervisor behaves will decide whether the workman is empowered or not empowered. Starts holding him accountable. How did you do the mistake? You start asking the question to him. Then it's not empowerment. He has come out honestly that there is a mistake. So he should be rewarded and the defect should be rectified. That's one example of doing this one. Second is, if some defective part has come, the operator who fits it sees that this part is not okay, he should be empowered to stop the conveyor line, even if it affects the production. So what we say generally, no, you report to supervisor, then if he will decide whether to stop the line or not, the line never gets stopped. Every employee should be empowered. You saw some picture from Muthu. In Daimler, they showed hand on board when the light starts blinking. If a worker finds a defect, he can stop the line. It will come and reflect, right? That's a way to empower. For the last 10-15 years, this is from Mr. S. Veeraraghavan. 10 to 15 years, a lot of training work has been conducted by OEMs to Tier 1 and Tier 2. Today, 800 million OEMs are there. Result efforts of this, what is the result of these efforts? That's what is being said. See, this is a journey. If you put seeds today, the benefits will take some time to come. So, hand-holding Tier 1 and Tier 2 is not an option, it's a necessity. Until unless we handhold and work with them, India is not going to progress. You can.
I think you remember the time when Maruti came in India, 83, 84, when Sir was there, must be in Maruti. So the kind of challenges they were having with not having that quality supplier, to the situation today where the Indian Tier 1, Tier 2 suppliers are supplying to Merck, BMW, or all the good companies in Europe. And I think, I don't exactly remember the data, but the growth of Indian auto component industry is more than 25% annually. It's a very big number, which is going from India to Europe and other countries. So this is one indicator. I'm not saying only because of the OEM, but it's maybe the overall effort of the quality journey of India in the last 20 years has tremendously changed the perception about the quality, especially the component industry.
I think adding to that, it is also the process of communication and transparency, correct? As we discussed, the changing demands from customers are going up, but the message of what is expected from each one of us in the value chain. I think that is where this engagement goes on, correct? It is a journey, as Sivanasan sir mentioned, but in this journey, we need to constantly engage and tell what is next, what is the expected from customer, and what is expected from OEM to be done, and what is that the OEM expects us, the partners, to do it. I think this has to continue, and this is the only way within we can evolve and transform.
So, one more question. What can we do for resilience at bottom level people who actually contribute to real quality? Who would like to answer? Any one of you can answer.
I can start. See, it's not about bottom or top, it's about clarity of role, correct? Are we able to give a clarity in terms of responsibilities or roles of each and every individual on what is expected from him or her? Once we have that defined, and then there is obviously a KPI or a metric attached to it. And once we start measuring that one, then the accountability comes into picture. So accountability comes along with the responsibility, correct? And responsibility means, are we clear as an organization? So I would start with that one, make it very clear, each and everyone's roles and responsibilities, and then automatically accountability comes, and then comes the ownership. That's how I see this one.
Sir, the last question is for Mr. Venkat. Used or broken glass is environmental threat. What are the measures for recycling these broken parts?
Actually, it's a myth that broken glasses is wrong for environment. In fact, the glass pieces are being used as a filter. And in fact, it's 100% renewable, and whatever glass is made is from the natural minerals, right? So natural materials. So broken glasses is not environmentally any bad at all. But as I already mentioned during my presentation, so whatever we get in the market, we 100% recover it. And the mix-up, we are trying to see how we can use the advanced technology of optical sorting system, the anti-current systems, and by way of also the supply chain, we are partnering with several startups like Kabadiwala and to see how we can get this milkman delivery systems from small shops in crowded bazaars to get all those colored. There are milkman delivery systems. There are huge, for example, the building demolition waste is also one of the ways in which we are trying to get back the broken pieces of glasses. So 6 axes in which we are looking at in terms of from retailers, from dealers to processors to the building demolition waste to what is available in the retail market and also the imports. Every single grain is being used. I'll also try to quickly answer on the previous one in terms of, because the people involvement is very important. When we started the suggestion scheme 20 years back, we based it on the GE, Jack Welch, what he has written, when he did the Six Sigma, and it became a success in GE in mid-90s. It's written in his book called The Winning. When he was talking to the operator and he was asking him, you have been with the company for more than 25 years and now we have done the Six Sigma, and what do you see as the difference before and after? He said that for 20 years you were paying for my heads and hands when my brain was available for free. When you trust that every single employee in the organization, whatever be the position, and value them for what they bring in as an idea, the suggestion scheme is based on this. And when we did the suggestion scheme, people don't stop giving suggestions, not because it's not getting implemented, but it's because they don't know why it is not getting implemented. So we have a system where there is a closed loop as to why it is implemented or not implemented. The people will value this.
Thank you. So we are running short of time. So the summarization, I will just one word summarization I will do for each. Mr. Venkat focused on sustainability is a great contributor to resilience. That's a message I could take from him. Mr. Muthu talked about quality mindset is the key differentiating factor. Think beyond systems and processes. Sachin talked about building resilient systems and using digital leverage to empower people. So these are the summary. So at the end, the conclusion, resilient quality leadership is all about holding the line of standards in the toughest moments. True resilience is ensuring that what you deliver still meets the world-class quality expectation, no matter how deep the crisis is, right? With that, I end this session. Now over to organizers.
Applause is the only language we can understand now. The second speaker is Mr.